Morning, good morning, all of you. Good morning. Some voice problem is there. I'll try to speak. Okay, fine. We'll have discussion. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I think I'll continue. Some voice throat infection is there. Okay, read the question. We have a prism. In between voice not coming, you just inform me. And I'm trying a lot to get the voice. It's asking the find the you have to calculate the time period of oscillations of the prism. There's our question. Okay, we'll start like this. How the so let's go for the constant equation first. If this is the it's a equilateral prism. Equilateral prism is telling so this will be 60 degrees. This length have to know. You read the question. I'll set the diagram. This point for it to be in contact, it has to cover a distance. This one I'm taking this one here. So let this particular point, let me assume a point P on a prism. Okay, this is what I just extended here. How the triangle will be. It should come like this, no? This cannot be 60. Anybody angle this one? I'll set it. 30 degrees it will be. Yeah. It will be 30 degrees. So what is x naught? X naught is the displacement of prism. So cos 30 will be d by x naught. We'll discuss numericals on prism. Somebody is asking so today. We'll discuss numericals on SHL. I just picked up questions on SHL. So therefore this d will be okay, for the prism to come in contact with the spring, it has to cover a distance how much? X naught. it has to move a distance x naught here. Then what is the time needed to cover a distance x naught with a speed v? So let me call that as time t1 will call it. So t1 will be d by v. So what is this time taken by prism? Time taken by the prism to strike the spring. Okay, there's a one first part. Sorry, yeah, x naught by v. Yeah, okay, that one. X naught will be okay. Yeah, I made correction. The prism has to cover a distance. There's a distance moved by the prism. I put it this one. Okay, now so when it moves a distance x naught, then what happened? It will go and strike the spring. So now what happened to the prism? So as it moves horizontally, it's going to compress the spring. So when it again, we'll go for this one here. How much spring will be? Spring will be compressed by. Let me take R. What is R? R is the compression. Compression of spring when prism moves by a distance x. Okay, getting the idea now. R is a compression. Okay, now again cos 30 R by x. I'm interested in the compression of the spring. So x should be equal to we needed R no. A T1 is the time taken by the prism to go and strike the spring. It will take time T1, it'll go compress. Okay, again it will be. Later we have to calculate the total time period. Later on I'll bring that one. T1 is only time taken to move from. Okay, we'll do one thing. We will give the names like this. Huh? Okay, at least now, okay. I can't draw so many diagrams. I'm trying to explain everything in the given question only. Time taken by the prism to move from A to B. What is, now we'll calculate the TBC. Now here open, it will not move with a uniform speed. The spring force will come into picture. So how much of spring force will be KR? Component of that has to be taken. Spring force, how it will act? It will act in this direction. So on the prism, what is the spring force that will be acting? KR cos 30, there is a restoring force. So now spring force, in horizontal direction. Write that one. So that will be kr cos 30. What is our x cos 30? This is the force acting on the prism along x-axis. That one. That is a restoring force. That this is like a restoring force, no? This will be. Okay, I think I'll give at least one small diagram so that will be easy for you. Kr component of that is what we call fx here. Okay, let me proceed further. It will undergo retardation, no? So what is that retardation? Minus fx by m. We should be is equal to so from this we'll get the 1/4 of the time period will be half of the time period. Let me call this T2. Okay, no problem. I'll write it. Omega will be no. What is the time taken to move from B to C back to B? Because it will be oscillating, no? So there should be the 1/4 of the time period. So like half of the time period. So 2 pi time taken by the prism to move from B to C and back to B. Okay, what is the total time period? What is the total time taken? Rather than this one, let me write T naught. What should be the T naught? Shall I say 4 times of TAB plus 2 times of TBC? So I'll put it on this side also. We can assume like this. Don't go for maximum diagrams. It will kill your time. Better try to analyze through the in the question only. Now you try to see that. Time taken by the prism to move from A to B should be equal to B to A. Similarly on this side. So is it okay? 4 times. Then time taken to move from B to C should be equal to C to B. On left side also B to C, C to B. Is it writing? Or you just, if you want, you write only BC, then you should write 1/4. I think this will be justified. And then this will be better one. So that confusion will not come. No, you write 4 times. Why 4 times? Because in one oscillation, A to B, B to C, C to B, B to A, then again A to B, B to C, C to B, B to A. Substitute all this one. 1/4, no. See, like when the prism moves from B to C, again it will take same time to move from C to B. It will lose contact from the spring. Again, when the prism moving towards left, it will move from B to C here. It will take some time, same time, TBC. Again, from C to B, same time. Please try to understand this one, because then mathematics, no, try to understand here. The path, uniform velocity motion, SHM, uniform velocity motion. Then again, uniform velocity motion, SHM, uniform velocity motion. This will be your answer. So when spring force is not acting along the displacement of particle, try to try to analyze what situation can arise. A to B, uniform velocity motion. I think may it's not possible in advance. There can be questions of these kind also. You have to be alert. You can solve by force torque method or the energy method. Let the displacement of this be x1, this be x2. So v1 equal to dx1 by dt, then a1 equal to dv1 by dt. Both the blocks are having same mass. What all form the energy? So here also the condition is same. The initial work done by initial spring force and work done by initial spring force and the gravity will be equal and opposite. So only the additional spring force will be doing work. So let me write the first constraint equation. If the block moves by a distance here 1 meter, here 1 meter, this will move by 2 meter. So what is the constraint equation? X1 equal to 2x2. So I'll be using this one. So what all form the energy will be? Kinetic energy of the blocks. How much block A moves, that much the spring will elongate. Okay. This one. V1 equal to 2V2. In fact, V2 I should replace, no? Let me differentiate this. 5V1. Total oscillation energy. This is oscillation energy. From where this oscillation energy will come? External agent. You will come and will pull the block B. That will become oscillation energy. If I pull this block B by some distance I release, I going to spend energy. That is nothing but oscillation, and that is going to remain constant. So this should be equal to 5m by 8. Four km, no? Okay, this you can solve by force method also. That will little bit lengthier. Initial spring force all. Energy method will be much easier. Usually we done most of the problems where there will only one block. Let there be two blocks. We can do it. Okay, one more spring he will bring here. Try to work out. Nothing wrong. I'll take next question. Read the question. It's very good. Some data he has given that have to be understood. The first part where an ice will be there. Hollow cylindrical shell. So that is having a mass M, capital M. I'll write M2. This is say some mean position. Not needed diagrams, not needed just for our to make things explain. I'm going for diagram. Otherwise, straight away you can jump into the concept. What all form now ice what will happen? Mass of ice, let it be M1, mass of the cylindrical shell, let it be M2, spring constant, let it be K. Let's take help of energy equation. E is equal to mv square moment of inertia of the system, let me write I omega square by 2 plus K square by 2, where V equal to R omega. What is the moment of inertia? Will be M2 cylindrical shell, no, into, okay, ice will also rotate, no. Ice is tightly pressed against the
solid cylinder.
Solid cylinder will become, yeah. Let me read sentence. Ice is tightly pressed. Okay, it will become solid cylinder. M1 R square by 2. E is equal to three M1 M2 so now we'll differentiate. Two XV. So this should be dE by dt. This should be
Is M2 plus 3M2, M2 plus
oh
3M1 by 4.
okay, this one yeah. 2M2 will come. 2M2, yeah, 3M2. I'll make adjustment. Here. 1 by 4 M2 2 I'll take outside. M by 2. How much you'll get it here?
Four M2 plus 3M1 by 4.
Yeah, okay, this one. Four M2 plus 3 M1 by 4. I didn't see that M1 by 2 earlier one. Yeah, this will be 1, 2 get cancelled, so this will become minus 2K by, okay, the time period will be this is the first part of the problem. Now it will become was a non-viscous. Now next situation is asking. So the part B. I think can be asked in objective or anyway, or in the matchings. Small idea based. Most of you might have come across also. Now this will be water. Some other color. Yeah. Now get into what will happen to the role of water here, and moreover it's a non-viscous stilling. What changes we have to make it?
Translation.
Only it will have translational, it will not have rotational kinetic energy. Moment of inertia m2 r square. Try to notice this part. It will have only translatory motion. Previously what happened, the ice was having both the translatory rotatory. Now the water will have only translatory motion. So here is what we have brought translatory motion m1 v square by 2. Rotatory motion only for cylindrical shell is what we have brought it. If water is viscous, there'll be rotation. Definitely there'll be rotation. Because as the water moves, there'll be friction between the layers of water. So definitely it will be damped oscillation. The energy will keep on, the amplitude will keep on decrease. So then the equation of motion will come like this. MA will be like this, no? Because the viscous drag force will come into picture. This one. So the amplitude will keep on decrease, finally will come to rest. There'll be some loss of mechanical energy in simplest way. Okay, this will differentiate. I should replace this v square by r square, no? Omega v equal to r omega. So we have replaced that omega as v square by r square. So there's all the condition. So then this will become 0 is equal to m2a plus kx just I think matchings. So check all the advanced papers. The matching questions are very easy. The conditions is what have to be understood clearly. You may bring, if it is having a viscosity, then what will happen? You may bring one more option. What is there when he's asking all this one? It's a very popular question, but still can be asked either mains, advanced. Anyway, let me take the next question. Yeah. I'll give you 2 minutes time, unless think once. We have done one problem similar to this in notes, but both were identical. Either both were disk or both were solid sphere. Here one is hollow sphere, other is solid sphere. Let me try to work out. Let's have some small rough diagram so that it'll help us a lot to write equation. Yeah. So initially the both are having same mass. Okay, the initially spring is relaxed. This is the hollow uniform hollow sphere. Sphere B, sphere A, I'll call it. It is understood. This is sphere A is uniform hollow sphere. Hollow sphere, solid sphere. Initially spring is relaxed. Okay, fine. Now what we do is like I'm going to I'll stretch it. Then somewhere here. Without diagram, you can you are supposed to make imagination. So they're being elongated. So how much each of the this one it was some they're elongated. There's a natural length. Let me directly come to the this one. So this is x1. This is x2. So how much of spring force? It is the spring is connected to midpoint. Exactly the center. Try to see that. Oh. Very easy. The problem you can really know. The release from rest. So now how much of spring force will act here? Kx1 or Kx. Let me take it here. How much of spring force? Kx. Let's get into what with the friction. Friction force depends upon the moment of inertia also. Go back to rotation mechanics. So will you put same friction for both or different friction? So here the friction force will be F1, F2. This will have velocity also V1. V1 it is. Okay, I agree this. Are you able to notice all the things? Okay, what is our question? We have to get the time period, that's all. So what is the acceleration? It will be acceleration. Shall we write directly? Let me look at the hollow sphere. Ma1 is equal to kx minus f. In turn, f1 into r is equal to I1 into alpha 1. And a1 equal to r alpha 1, pure rolling. Let me replace all the terms. Hollow sphere 2 by 3 mr square. Alpha 1 will be a1 by r. So f1 equal to 3m1, 3m a1 by 2. I'm going to substitute that there. Kx it is 5m a1 by is it SHM? What is A1? A1 is the acceleration of center of hollow sphere. What is X? X is the total deflection. We wanted X1. We don't know this
Sir,
X1.
F1 is 2 MA1 by 3, sir.
Mhm.
3kx by 5m.
Okay. Okay, no. So I think don't feel happy that okay problem is over. We need X1 here. This has to be replaced. And I'll just highlight it so that you'll notice. I should replace X1. So how from where to bring X1? Shall I write X equal to X1 plus X2 and M1 X1 equal to M2 X2? What is total elongation? X1 plus X2. Am I right? What all that elongation? There's a natural, no, what all elongation is X1 plus X2. Okay, there's no problem. Can I, either I'm justified to write, anybody, any, will you object or okay, no problem. When you can write like this? When F1 equal to F2. And I'm very sure that F1 is not equal to F2. Strictly, let me write somewhere here. Why F1 is not equal to F2? There are two different regions. Both are having same mass, same radius, but the distribution of mass is different. So therefore, the rolling friction depends also on distribution of mass. So therefore, F1, F2 are not equal. If F1 equal to F2, I would have written. But F1 is not equal to F2. So therefore, this is not applicable. So therefore, let me not write. So then both are unknown. How to bring that one? I'll go for conservation of angular momentum. About what? About any point. Let me go for conservation of angular momentum. LP1 Zi equal to LP1 ZF. Initially, they were released from rest 0 plus 0. Finally, shall we write directly MV1R? So what all it will be? MV1R plus moment of inertia I1 omega 1. Both are clockwise. Huh? I'm writing about this point, conservation of angular momentum. Similarly, we'll write for this. What should be this one? This should be equal to MV2R. Okay, I agreed this particular thing. Finally, the angular momentum of this, either you measure angular momentum about here for you, if you want. Okay, if you are getting confusion, no, right here P. About P1 for this body and this body will be same, or about P2 also. You can apply, the axis can pass through anywhere here, perpendicular to plane. Okay, no confusion here. This will be, this is 0 is equal to MV1R plus this will be 2 by 3 why negative sign? Sense of rotation are different, no? Minus this will be 2 by 5. For pure rolling, let me send it in order. For pure rolling, V1 equal to R omega. Let me substitute this. So this will become
Omega 1 by omega 2 equal to 21 by 25.
okay. I wanted what you are writing.
That equation only I simplified, sir. That's it.
That one. Okay. That one. Yeah. Let me. So this will be omega 1. You can write it as V by R1. One more step. I'll write it. M get cancels. So this will be 5 V1 by 3 is equal to 7 V2 by 5. Check it. I think I'm right here. Now from this, I can also write therefore finally what we'll get 5 by 3 x1 equal to we wanted x2, no? So this will be 25 by 21. This equation 1, 2. We'll do one thing. I'll put in order. This is 1, 2, and this is 3. Let me put 3 into. x1 equal to 21 by 46. Yeah. This x I'll replace here now. Three seven ja 46 k by 35 m. X1 no, it is. Now we'll get the time period. Any doubts you can clarify? Any doubts you can clarify? See, I feel this, the diagram will help you here. That's what I'm telling you this one. First time when I'm solving, no, to be frank, how to get x1 and x2, from where to bring that relationship. That one. Then what happened? I took help of this particular thing. At t equal to 0, this is the thing. This is at any time t. Okay, this one. No, say what happened, the same, instead of this, what happened, we can also do by kinematics. In an interval of time t, the distance moved by this and this. Because see, I released here, to arrive to this position, time taken is same, no? Then what happened, x2, I got in terms of t, x1 in terms of t. Then I got relation x1 and x2. Then why not conservation of angular momentum? In the book, they're given this method, but when I solved by x1 in terms of t, x2 in terms of t, the same equation, I got it. So the diagram really plays very important role here. Without this diagram, what will happen for you? What is the time taken for it to move this much of distance? Again, you should be very careful. Again, you have to bring this x0, x01, x02. Very lengthy. This is the best approach what is given in the book. And this I highlight. Can be asked in advance. If both are hollow sphere, tell me what will happen. If both were hollow sphere, any changes will you make to the problem? Please do think, please do think. If both were hollow sphere, then friction will be same. In that case, you can write m1 x1 equal to m2 x2. No need of this. Straight away m1 x1 equal to m2 x2, you'll get a relationship between m1 m2. From that you'll get x1 x2 relationship and you can solve it. Got the idea? This one, so they may test you with this, just be careful. I think in notes during regular class we solved it where both were of same shape, means both were disk, both were identical disk. In that case, f and f will come. You can solve by energy method or force torque method. Force torque method will be very lengthy. You will be ending up with so many equations. No slipping occurs at all surfaces. So therefore, net work done by rolling friction will be 0. We'll go for the energy method. So if you take the energy method, let it be displaced by a distance. So so now let it be displaced by distance x towards right. So this spring force will be compressed. Sorry, this will be compressed. This will be elongated. So kx will the plank is slightly displaced. Let's assume that one. I'll only display this plank by distance x. Okay, I get this one. Then this will be compressed, this will be elongated. So spring force are acting. So the net force on the plank is towards left. So there will be friction at this particular point. Call F1 or only F you call it. This on the plank. Then on the cylinders will be in this direction. What about the friction here? Mass of solid cylinder. And then what action friction you are going to take it? The friction here will be F dash, you call it. Why F dash should be towards left? Because where the force is acting for solid cylinder, threshold point will be R by 2. Threshold point will be R by 2. So the friction force which is acting, this will become like external force. It is acting above the threshold point. So therefore F dash should be towards left. Then put all the accelerations. Let the velocity of the plank, let it be V. Any of the symbol or V1, what will be that? Huh? Okay, let's get into some energy equation. E equal to m1 v square by 2 plus 2 springs compressed 2kx square by 2 plus translational kinetic energy it should be like this now, of m2 v2 square by 2 plus of rotational kinetic energy I naught, let me write O here, I naught translational kinetic energy of the plank, translational kinetic energy of the two solid cylinders, rotational kinetic energy of two solid cylinders plus elastic potential energy of the spring. This one, let me simplify this step. Why this? 2 also gets eliminated. So m2 v2 square plus I naught m2 r square by 2 v equal to no slipping occurs. Let's write all the conditions. No slipping occurs. So v is equal to how much it should be? Okay, I can replace v2 in terms of v, and we know v equal to dx by dt. E is equal to m1 v square plus kx square m2 3m2 v2 is how much? V by 2 whole square. This will differentiate. 2v into a 3m2 by 8 dx by dt will be v. A is equal to 8k by problem not yet over. This is the time period. Okay, I'll ask you a few questions. What is the work done by this rolling friction? Both are rolling friction because no slipping occurs. What is work done by both the friction will be 0. What about this friction F and F dash? Will they be constant or they vary linearly with the time or will they vary harmonically with the time? Both F and F dash vary harmonically with the time. This is very important. Maximum in passages, no? Time period they'll ask you, then about the friction direction of rolling friction acting. Harmonic, they vary harmonically. Will the direction, will it be fixed or variable? Say when you say harmonic, direction have to change. It's understood. When you say F and F dash harmonically, either sine or cosine. So sine, cosine, what will have positive, negative. So direction of friction force acting on them will not be fixed, will change. But what is the thing state condition? On mean to left extreme, it will be in one direction. Mean to right extreme, it will be in other direction. Because it's like a sine wave, no? For one half, it'll be in one direction. For other half, it'll be other direction. You can verify this by going for torque and force method, very lengthy. Try to maximum whenever you get a problems of rotational mechanics with SHM, prefer energy method. Prefer energy method. If you go for like a force, here like a spring force Kx, here F, then write equation like here acceleration A1, here acceleration A2, then you have to write torque equation, very lengthy. It may take almost 40 minutes. Energy method, it will be simplified. Don't get surprised if they bring one spring force here also. Still it will work out. Okay, still it will work out. Okay, there's a thing. Now, if it is a hollow cylinder and this is smooth, tell me what changes you're going to make. Hollow cylinder and this is smooth. This friction will not act. Or say hollow cylinder and let this be rough. This friction will not come. They may trouble you. If the hollow cylinder, though this is rough, F dash will not be 0. So I'll write it. Now you be careful. Huh? So many things, data. Please do analyze, not like some only getting the answer. One more, we'll have small discussion. Even you may end up questions where one of smooth, other of rough. Okay, let this be a disk of mass m and radius r. I'll give velocity for this V naught and release. What will be the time period of oscillation? How do it will be? Initially, spring is relaxed. So this will be the main position. Will it be SHM? I can ask you, no, very simple things here. Here, what will happen? The disc here will have both rotative, translative motion. When it comes here, it will have only translative motion. So what is the motion? How it will occur? V omega and the spring force will be acting like this. So finally, it will come to instantaneous rest. This what we'll call this as amplitude. Say call A1, instantaneous rest. Okay, let me explain everything here only. Then again, it will come back to the mean position. What will happen here? It will have V naught. And that's all, no? Net work done should be 0. Will there be any angular velocity for it? No. We'll try to analyze the problem from here. Given only linear velocity. Given only linear velocity. Oh, wait.
Will not be SHM.
Okay,
No, sir.
then
Second
it'll
part
not
of
be SHM. It'll not be SHM. Wait. I'll make it. Then only possible. Huh? Initially, slipping will there will not be SHM. Let me give V naught equal to R omega naught. It'll be SHM comes to rest. Again, when it returns back, omega naught. Okay, now when it goes, when it comes somewhere here, it will have linear velocity, say some V, but omega will be same. When it comes to instantaneous rest also, let's see whether SHM or no SHM. Omega naught. Okay, there's a thing. It has come to instantaneous rest. Then again, when it returns back, so here you look at here, so it will arrive here with velocity V naught. So will it be SHM? They may trouble you in matchings than objective. Here what when pure rolling, no problem. That is, it will come to instant rest, amplitude A1. Then when it comes here, same omega naught, V naught, it will come here. Half of the time period of oscillation, okay. Afterwards, omega naught will not change because only spring force will be acting. The spring force will be acting in this direction. This one, and at left extreme, it will have angular velocity. Nobody can change angular velocity. Again, it will come back to same mean position with the same, you can say that V naught will come, but omega naught will not change. Now, when it moves here, the friction does work. There'll be slipping. So what will happen finally? Shall I say damped oscillation? The energy will be lost in every cycle. Here there won't be energy lost. On this side there'll be energy lost. And finally, where the sphere can come to rest. It mean position only. So what is the type of motion shall we say like here now? After this, let me, yeah. So the friction will be kinetic. The V1, say like a velocity of point will be non-zero, kinetic friction here there. So now what will happen is like work done by friction will be non-zero. Here work done by friction is zero in this region. It will be non-zero. So the amplitude will decrease. Slipping occurs, I'll write it. Okay, try to analyze. There's no limit the way they can ask you. It's your duty to analyze all this one. Here, let me write comment. Let me scroll down to the next problem. Read the question and try to understand first. It'll be a very easy problem. There is no variable mass concept. That's what he's trying to say there. So now because the rope, the heap will experience a force, the rope will also experience a thrust force. Neglect all those things is what he's saying. Well, let's not bother about that one. So let me begin like this. There's a spring force, kx naught, and it will balance the weight of the rope. So how much weight of the rope? Lambda Lg. So initially, what is kx naught? Okay, I get this. Now what we are going to do? Slightly, I'll pull the rope, then I'll release. Who will execute SHM? The rope. The rope is having a mass. Yeah, you can see here. A rope of mass per unit length equal to lambda. Hangs from the string. It's asking find the time period of oscillations of this rope. But the length of the rope will not be L, no. So I think somewhere the rope is very thin and size of the heap is negligible. Though the heap contains a fairly long length of the rope is raised by a very small distance and released. So still, what is the mass of the rope? We assume it to be length of the rope, mass of the rope to remain constant. Okay, slightly, let me pull it. If I slightly by small distance, how much of spring force? It will further elongate by x. So k x naught plus x will act here. I think and let me only take the rope. This heap, let's not bother. Huh? So this is the initial length L. So lambda Lg. No need to draw total diagram. Look at only rope because the rope is what needed no for us. Now when I pull the rope by distance x, this x is very small. How much of spring force? Kx naught plus x. Then how much here will be lambda L minus x g. So what is the length of this part of the rope? Will I agree? So now net force in what direction? Will be upward. Now last part. The x is very small, so almost will assume the length of the rope to be L only. So lambda L into A should be equal to kx naught plus x minus of kx naught lambda Lg will get eliminated. Kx plus
We can eliminate.
okay, you see this. Any objections?
You're neglecting x now, sir, in the mass part.
Is telling no. The rope is very thin and size of the heap is negligible through the heap contains very.
We can neglect there also now, sir, in the right hand part. Lambda L minus x.
The rope is raised by a very small distance and released. So almost the length of the rope, we take it to be lambda L. There's one approximation I did.
If you're doing approximation on the
In the
LHS,
RHS also we can do now, sir.
approximation on the RHS.
See what actually the, I think I'll bring mathematically. Okay.
Then RHS also it will be lambda capital LG.
No. This will become like a restoring force. No. See, initial spring force and this will balance. The additional restoring force is what have to be brought here. Getting the method. You do one thing, just carry on. You'll get here L minus x very small. Then the equation will become like this. So I'll do one thing. This will be more justified. Okay. Now, x will be very much less than L. The next equation because this cannot be SHM. When it will be SHM? Okay, I think now you are in better position. Okay,
Yes, sir.
we should think that mathematics has to be introduced like this here. And just be careful. So I think we have to be particular about this particular thing, condition. It's a lambda, it is. I'll scroll down. Who is executing SHM? The rope, not spring or string. Okay. Read the question. Read the question. It'll be you'll be uncomfortable. Let me make it a little bit small. If you want, you can draw diagram, but I don't think so. It's that much of necessity. Better to imagine and try to write equation because it'll be very lengthy going for diagrams. Yes, given whenever they mentioned area of cross section of container and also that of the block. So you should also consider the change in level of liquid. Change in level of liquid in the container should also be considered. If this is very much larger, suppose it is a 20A, this is a, then okay, then the change in level of liquid you can neglect. So if we should consider also that particular thing. I'll try to explain through diagram so that it'll be easy for you. So there's the initial level. The block is released from here. And I'll proceed now with this one. There's everything is there's a liquid. Okay, no. I'm going to leave it. let's have like this here. No, what will happen to it is like, as it enters, same size, no? Yeah. Anything will happen to liquid, should rise, no? So it will rise. Even the buoyancy concept will also get completed. That's why I just picked up this problem. What is that yellow color? Change in level of liquid. Sir, but in most of the problems, we didn't consider here the area of cross section of container is not very much greater than that of the block. So how much it has entered? Some X length, some Y length. So what is the area of cross section of this A? So shall we go for the volume immersed, should be equal to volume of displaced liquid. What is volume of displaced liquid? 4A minus A into Y. What is Y? Rise in level of liquid in the cylinder, in the container. This is a container. Block or cylinder, both are same. This is very important. Unless you don't have this thinking, not possible. I'm making clear. So what is this yellow color one? Displaced liquid. Don't think that new liquid has come. Yeah, let it be. So at equilibrium, so what we can write here now? At equilibrium, the weight of the cylinder will be balanced by the displaced liquid. This one. So at equilibrium we'll go for. What is the expression for buoyant force? Let me go for it. Density of liquid 2 rho, volume immersed into, this is a very important step. Now what is volume immersed? A into X plus A into Y. What is Y? Y is equal to X by 3. So this everything will become 8 rho A. Getting this one. This will be the buoyant force when X length is immersed. This will be the buoyant force. So at equilibrium, now we'll go for it. At equilibrium, problem is solved. I'm telling this one. Your problem, once you are able to think this volume immersed, no? Volume immersed is not only this one. Volume immersed is this one. All of you are able to look at this one because the total volume immersed, this is the volume immersed. This is not volume immersed. Total volume immersed is this one, VI. And that's why I brought it here. So at equilibrium, the buoyant force will be balanced by the weight of the cylinder. So what is the buoyant force will be 8 rho Ag x naught by 3. Weight of the cylinder rho A Lg. What is x naught? X naught will be 3L by 8. Now why I brought this? You see that one. Finally, no, this. Let me take this one here. somewhere here it will come to equilibrium, no? What is x naught? X naught is the total length immersed. Let's I better I should not show it. Okay, I agree this. So that is x naught. Okay, now what is asking the amplitude? Now I'll use this particular thing. What is this is was released from rest. And this is a mean position. So what is the distance moved by it? Okay, what is the distance moved by it from this extreme to mean position? Shall we say amplitude? Am I right? Will you agree, all of you? I think the diagram may not be correct, but for our understanding purpose, I just brought it. In SHM, distance moved by, because at upper extreme, it should be at instantaneous rest, and at mean, it has some maximum velocity. I'm not showing that also. Okay, no. The distance from the upper extreme to mean position is what we should take amplitude. So what is the amplitude now? So this should be the amplitude. What is the amplitude of oscillation? Find the amplitude of oscillation of the wooden cylinder. Should be this one. Therefore, will agree all of you? Sir, like from where, how, why you are discussing like this? Okay, you do one thing. You go back to the spring block system. A release from rest. This is a natural length. This will be the so in fact, this is the amplitude, no? Am I right? Here maximum elongation. I'm just correlating the ideas what I have from spring block. Release from rest, mean position, then lower extreme. This upper extreme, mean, lower extreme. So what the distance should be the amplitude. Please correlate, it'll be easier. So is it justified now? This should be the amplitude. Okay, now let's come back to the time period. Okay, how to get the time period? If you further say, if you further press it, then what happen? The additional bind force will be only this much. So MA should be equal to what is FB dash 8 rho AG. Further, let me write it some R because X already I took it, no? What is M? M, I think I can write rho AL, no? Rho A get cancelled, so this will be check once. R is a displacement here. At equilibrium, if I further press by some distance and release, then this will be the buoyant force. Any doubt? If you have, you can clarify. First two diagrams is the concept. From here, once you reach here, rest all problem will become very simple. We'll take the next one. Okay, this is the initial level of the liquid. Initially, the thing area of cross section is given. Slightly, it will be pressed. I think it's all about the diagram. I feel it's purely about the diagram. So when I'm going to press it, this entire setup may come like this. I have diagrams. It's very easy for me to now explain. Okay, now. This everything is the water. Huh? Of through diagrams, you might have got the idea what to do. Okay, no. Initially, there's an equilibrium. M1G. Let me think like this. They're both combined. Huh? The both are having and initially there's a buoyant force. FB not, I'll write it. We'll try to calculate FB naught. Let me do one thing. Yeah. FB naught equal to M1G plus M2G. So only area of coefficients are different, no? So buoyant force will be density of liquid, density of solid, let it be sigma. Of side length 2a. Is it okay? 2a cube. Okay, it'll become cube. What is m1? M1 will be sigma a cube g, sigma 2a whole cube. Volume immersed. So this will become 8 rho L. So sigma, this will be 8 by 9. Check once. If I'm right, I'll proceed. Density of solid by liquid, it's a
Yes, sir.
water. No? Yeah. We'll take this equation 1. No. It's asking the time period of oscillation. It's asking the time period of oscillation. As this is side length is 2a. No, it is slightly pressed here, no? So let it be y length, let it be inside. How much of additional bind force will come? Shall I say only this much is additional bind force? No, the same, the weight as usual, they'll act here. M1 G. No, the additional bind force that is acting will be FB. Earlier I wrote FB naught, let it be FB no. Net acceleration will be upward. A dash. So what is M1 plus M2 A dash should be equal to M1 plus M2 should be equal to, shall we write directly 9 sigma A cube A dash. What is the buoyant force? FB minus M1 plus 2, this will become additional buoyant force. Additional buoyant force, how much it should be equal to? Rho L A square YG. Will I agree? I'm writing directly or okay, I'll write it. What is there in that one? Additional buoyant force will be rho L you can write directly in exam. Rho L 2a cube G minus M1 plus M2G. This will become FB naught. A dash equal to rho L A square G by rho L by sigma we have
By
8
G by 8A, sir.
G by 8, yeah. This is A dash when it is. Okay, now the time period will be T dash. I'll write it. Keep it, no problem. For what time the block here will be off of the time period, it will have T dash. Next part. Again, it'll come to mean position. After mean position, what will happen to it? No. First, I pressed it, I released no. So for half of the time period, it will be in this position. Again, it'll come back to this one. Now it will start rising up. When it rises up, this much of buoyant force is what will decrease, no? Say M1 plus M2G will be as it is. No, FB naught. In FB naught, what happens? This much of buoyant force will decrease. Are you able to notice? Or you are getting confusion. You will do one thing. Call this is Y, no? This is say some L, or R, you write it. Oh. 2A minus R it is. Then buoyant force FB dash it is. FB double dash. Which will be greater, FB double dash or M1 plus M2G? FB double dash will be less than M1 M2G. So therefore there'll be acceleration downward, or it will undergo retardation. So now the next part of the problem. M1 plus M2 together. What FB double dash I should write? Rho L two A cube
Plus
minus negative, no? I should subtract.
4, sir.
Okay.
That should be 4A square R.
4A square R. Huh?
Side length 2.
Okay, this one. Yeah.
Not that one, sir.
Okay, I agree, no? This will be cube. Check once. This is very important. The buoyant force, just look at only this one. The buoyant force is only this much, no? What is volume immersed? This is 2A square. Oh,
Correct only, sir.
correct only, yeah. In the total, I subtracted that one, no? Yeah, fine. In the total volume, I subtracted this much of volume. Then I'll get this much. Now, what we can do, rho L, this will become FB naught. G should also be there, no? A double dash, this should be equal to 4 by 9 rho L by sigma. How much will get this one?
Minus GR by 2A.
199 will get cancelled, no?
Sir, minus GR by 2A.
4 will be there, no? Eight, 9 will get cancelled, 8 will be, okay, this one, minus GR by
2A.
the time period of this, will write it. No, what is the time period of oscillation will be? T is equal to T dash by 2. Why I should do like this? One oscillation, no? For half of the time, we see this condition because it'll go like this and come, no? So this is the mean portion. Now lower extreme, then mean. For half of the time period will be this much. Remaining of once the this bigger block, if it starts emerging out from the surface of liquid, then it will have different time period. So final answer will be total anything. Can we simplify this one?
3 pi under root 2A by G.
This will be your answer. I think can be asked in advance, nothing big. So I suggest you always, this is the initial, this diagram is very important. I'll write down equilibrium. This is very important. Always go for equilibrium, then you displace it, then check it. I think that's what the method what we were using earlier also. I'll just shade out so that it'll be easy for you. Okay, tomorrow we'll continue from here. Today I'll upload mains paper. So I wanted to take class, but throat is not permitting me. Hope by tomorrow I'll recover totally. Then from afternoon we can have a mains discussion also. Okay. Okay, thank you all of you.